Welcome to 770. This place is one of the most iconic building structures in the entire world. And today, we're going to get a very unique look on what's going on inside, get some of the history and some fun facts. I grew up in this neighborhood. I have a lot of history, spending a lot of time at 770. I'm going to share some of my stories, and we're going to have a great time. Come on in. Before we go inside, let me just tell you something. A little history. The Frierdiker Rebbe was in Warsaw. He had to escape the Nazis. The Rebbe was in occupied France. It was occupied by the Nazis. He had to escape. They both came to America, and they were in this beautiful upscale place in Manhattan, in New York. And the Frierdiker Rebbe chose here to set up the headquarters. A lot of people in this area thought he would be a Rebbe that would have a little shul. But the Frierdiker Rebbe said, no, we are going to basically conquer the world from here. And they laughed at him. And today, we know who has the last laugh. From 770, we're marching out into the entire world. To your left, before we go in over here, this is where the Rebbe's sukkah stood. It used to be without pavement until about 1976. They realized they couldn't open the door. It was getting too muddy, and we know Lubavitchers, we eat in the sukkah, even with the water. Somebody was really nice to add some pavement. Over here, you had the Rebbe gave Mayim Shalanu right on this area over here. The Rebbe gave out thousands of lekach from right over here. Over here, there, the secretaries, people that work for the Rebbe, were right in this office. You could see the chicken from Kaparis right over here, the Rebbe's chicken. And over here to the right is the Rebbe's office. The Frierdiker Rebbe gave the Rebbe his office, and the Rebbe kept the office even after he became Rebbe. And right above his office, prime real estate, was Rebbetzin Shterna Sarah's living quarters. That's the Rebbe Rashab's wife. They gave her a really good prime real estate over here. And as we come in here, something that a lot of people don't notice, first of all, you have some Japanese or Chinese writing above on the windows, and a picture of a boat and some people. Those have an amazing significance that no one has any idea what it means and what it does. No one ever got that translated. It just is how the building arrived. The building was a very elegant building and very cultural, and has a lot of different parts to the architecture that no one ever bothered figuring out, really. I don't know. But right beneath that, during the trials for the Sfarim, the Rebbe wanted this written on the building. So, of course, during the night, they piled up a couple tables, color war style, and they wrote it out. The neighbor grabbed his Polaroid camera and quickly said, I got to capture this. And he took these pictures that you see right here. The Bachrim, the Hasidim were very hands-on involved every step of the way. Right now, we're going to head inside 770. Let's see what we got. This place, when I was a kid, every Sunday I would come in through here, come right over here, and the Rebbe was set up over here giving out dollars. Thousands of different kind of people would wait online. Remember, even CNN came over to the Rebbe and said, what's your message to the world?
Can you tell us the message you have for the world about Mashiach, the message you have for the whole world about the Mashiach?
She was printed in all the press of all the countries. The Mashiach is ready to come now. It is only from our part to do something additional in the realm of goodness and kindness.
Everybody would pass by here. Right through this door is where the Rebbe's office is, still stands over here. And if you look right opposite here, this door is where the Rebbe's mail would go. The secretary, people that worked for the Rebbe over here would process everything. You had Rabbi Chadikov, you had Rabbi Groner, Rabbi Klein, Rabbi Krinsky, they would all go over there. This pushka is actually interesting. The Rebbe used to give out coins. I remember the Rebbe used to give out coins after davening to kids to give tzedakah. He gave a coin, and a kid couldn't reach this hole over here. He couldn't reach it, so the Rebbe lifted him up to give tzedakah. After that, of course, the Hasidim always have to try to quickly accommodate, so they got out the drill or the saws, and they made a beautiful second hole for children. And right now, we're gonna give some tzedakah in the children section. There we go. I think, for the very little kids, I'm gonna make another hole right over here. I don't have to come back with a screwdriver. But by next time you come to 770, hopefully you will see young children hold. For my kids, I don't think my youngest could reach there. All right, this is the place. This is the place. The Rebbe used to daven here every Shabbos and Yontif. Over here, this used to be a window. One Rosh Hashanah, the Frierdiker Rebbe daven right over here. And I forgot to mention, at this very table, the iconic spot where the Rebbe gave over the famous mimer of Basi Lagani. We're the 7th generation, and we're the last generation of Golus and the first generation of Geulah. And right over here is the original from the Frierdiker Rebbe's Bima, where they read the Torah. They didn't want to, you don't throw these things out, so they just built under it, on top of it, perfected it. But you see, this is the old wood. And over here, this spot, this is where the Rebbe used to daven during the week, every day. And that's the door. He came in through that door, sat down right over here. And this is the original chandelier. And there's some spider webs there that I have to get. Let me get rid of the spider webs. Someone's got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Someone's really got to. I don't know why that's. 1 second. I don't know why I have to do everything. There we go. Wow. Okay, and this very room, the Frierdiker Rebbe established as a yeshiva. Taim Chetamimim was from this room right over here, and he said, "Al shloisha dvarim ha'olam oimed." On 3 things the world stands, and of course, the first one of those 3 things is Torah. This is where they used to broadcast sichahs when the Rebbe would talk. They have all these different technologies. Back then it was state of the art. Now it's like a old museum. I heard that Rabbi Kunyan from Los Angeles, California, the head shliach of the West Coast, he comes here every month. I heard he's in town. We're gonna see. We heard he's hiding out in the old rooms here of the WLCC. Rabbi Kunyan, you remember me?
Wow. The beard has gotten longer.
It got a little wider.
Right, and longer.
Yes. So I heard you come into 770 once a month.
At least.
How long have you been doing this for, and why?
More than 30 years. More than 30 years. And why? Because I have to get my batteries recharged. We have Baruch Hashem more than 400 shluchim, 200 mazdas.
Where?
In California. So where do you get the koich for this? Get the koich right from here. You go into the Rebbe's oil, then you come back and you go into the Rebbe's room, and you daven and you say to Hashem, Hashem, give me the strength that the Rebbe should be proud of what I'm doing. Rebbe, help me to make an end of this Golus.
Wow. And when you come to 770, try to describe the feeling that you get when you come into 770.
You really can't.
Try to put it into words.
The only thing you can say is that each time that you come, all the heavy packages you're carrying on your shoulders seem to be so much lighter. all the darkness that you seem to see becomes all of a sudden so much brighter. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You close your eyes, you hold the door handle of the Rebbe's Gan Eden Atachten, the room next to the Rebbe's room. You feel the koyach, you feel the power.
See, I didn't know where his hideout was when he came to visit. Now we all know where he hides as his quiet spot. So this is, I don't know, you gave away your...
Not a problem, I have 2 good locks on my door.
Right next door, this is the person that had the key to this was Rabbi Harlig of blessed memory. And this is where he got the kichel and the good stuff from the Kiddush. So that's why I'm gonna take my license here. Just gonna, you know, when you live in Brooklyn, you learn how to get into places. Okay. On a different episode, we'll teach you how to do that. Oh, look at that. I didn't have to walk in very far. You got some good rugelach there. Gebacken nach Pesach. And it even says the year. Okay, so that means it's very fresh. I will confirm that information right now. Oh, that was good. That was really, this spot right over here. It looks like there's a lot of hooks over here. But really, it's not that many when you think about the amount of people that came in over here. So you'd have like 5 coats on each hook, miraculously. This place is a miracle of the hooks. That's what I call it. And if you manage to get a hook over here, means you came early. You were in good luck. Otherwise, you had to kind of hide it somewhere, and hopefully it was there when you found it. Sometimes you found something very similar to your coat, and then you'd come home and someone else found something similar to his coat and he would come home. But back then, okay, fine, it works, it keeps us warm. The Shalash, this area over here between that building, 788 and 770, this they call the Shalash. First they congregated here while it was not built. It was an open door area. And then they built it in. So this is kind of the first phase of the expansion. They built the Shalash into an indoor environment up until just those beams right over there. It was relatively small. And I remember the windows, there were windows to outside over here. And the Rebbe's table was right over here. And that's where we would have Farbrengens. Then the next phase that they expanded 770 was they broke down this wall and they moved into the basement of the nearby building of 788. And they expanded it all the way until about here. So 770 for a while was about, this shul was about half the size, less than half the size. Again, when I say 770, everyone refers to this place as 770. Technically, it's 788. 770 is that original building. The next expansion was up until this area right about here. But they had a problem. They wanted to move it all the way to the front. But there were stores. There were different stores over there where the Rebbe's chair was, where the Aron is, where the Chazan davens. That were all stores back in the day. So eventually, after this wall, they figured out a way to negotiate a deal with the stores. They bought the stores, and they broke down the walls, and that's how we have the very large 770 building that we have today. Just seeing it from the outside, you get a lot better idea of the different phases of expansion. You have 770, that's the original, legally 770. This area over here between that building, 788, and 770, this they call the Shalash. And then they went into this building right over here, 788, and that's where the next couple phases occurred. I remember this spot vividly. The Rebbe would daven over there. And then when he was done, some nights you'd get a sichah. This is the space right over here where the Rebbe stood after davening one evening, and he said, "Tut als was ihr kennt." Right over here.
Und tut alles, was ihr kennt, und setzt ein Robling in Mashiach, take it from Yad Mamash.
And I remember as a kid, I remember standing over here, right over here. There were a bunch of kids. I remember there were some young kids that were saying Kaddish. The Rebbe would always give them extra attention. And I would always stand over here, try not to get pushed out and shoved. One time I remember there was a kid standing in the way, right in the shvil. The Rebbe saw a kid standing right there. The Rebbe stopped, he smiled, he looked, he waited. And everyone was like, what's going to happen now? And then eventually I think the kid's parent picked her up or she walked away. But the Rebbe had so much respect for the kid that was standing right in the pathway for where the Rebbe had to go. And right over here is where the Chazan used to daven and still davens every day. And of course, everyone tried to make the Rebbe's life a little bit easier. They built out this thing so that during Tachnun, when we put our arm down, the Rebbe had a place to do that. Also was to put the Chumash over here. And the Rebbe gave out a lot of, I got many Svarim over here from right by this table. The Rebbe would give it out. I remember whenever the Rebbe would come to this area and when he would leave, he would always just pull the pareichas. Right over here is the big bima in the middle center of 770. From this spot is where the Rebbe blew the first 30 tekiyas on Rosh Hashanah. He put his talis over all the panim, all the little letters that people from all around the world would write into him, all the chassidim. And he organized the shofar, and again, he blew the first 30 tekiyas right here from this bima in middle of 770. Now let's just take a look around, right when we're in the middle. It's a good time to just look around 770. This spot gives me the chills whenever I look at it. It reminds me, one, Yontif was over. Once when Yontif was over, all my brothers said that they want to come for Kaish Bracha. And they went, they fell asleep, they took a nap, and they didn't want to wake up. When my father went to wake them up, they were like, Me, I jumped right out of bed. This was an opportunity. I was little, I was like 8 years old, and I was like, I'm going out at night. And I didn't even know what I was coming into. I put on clothes real quickly. I came out here, and there was a line lining up straight to here, and the Rebbe had a cup of wine, and he would pour for everyone coming back here. It's called Kaish Bracha, and he would pour, and I put out my cup, and it was just an amazing moment and connection. When the Rebbe looked at me, I felt like he saw my neshama right there. My father was right behind me. So this moment, I even have an amazing picture to capture the moment. I remember the Rebbe, because he was pouring so much, the tablecloth was stained with some wine on it. I remember getting on this line for Kaish Bracha. There was another line coming over here. I like this line better because it was right by the table. The Rebbe didn't have to turn around. And you got your cup. You walked over here, hold the cup with your right hand, put out the cup. The Rebbe poured the Kaish Bracha, the wine, inside your cup. And then when he got off the line, that's when you could put it in the keepsake. This table, by the way, this table was installed. The Rebbe only used it for a few months. But I remember the more plain table. I remember crawling underneath as a kid. That was good times. This is the famous place where the Rebbe said with passion, "Kara Welt heint," we got to turn over the world. Because if you are alive today and you live your entire life without Mashiach coming, it's as if there was a destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. So therefore, you have to do everything you can, turn over the world to make sure that in your lifetime there is no destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. And the Rebbe even said that this over here is like the Beis Hamikdash of Bavel, like the Golus Beis Hamikdash, temporary Beis Hamikdash until the Beis Hamikdash comes here. So this place definitely has an energy that you can feel when you walk in. So after davening, the truth is before davening, they had the best cholent. Okay, so that was my breakfast Shabbos morning. I'd come over there, it would be wheeled out this huge cholent. And I made sure to have cholent before davening. Oh, it was the best cholent ever. And then I would go sit on the bleachers, watch what was going on, taking it in, daven, run home afterwards, make kiddush, have a mezainis, have a little piece of gefilte fish, and come back to reserve my spot right on the top. You see where the curtains are? So that's the area in the back. That was my spot. I came every single Shabbos after Kiddush to reserve that spot for the Farbrengen. And the Farbrengen, no microphones. I didn't hear anything that was going on, but I could feel it. There was something amazing about being in that room when the Rebbe was giving a sichah on Shabbos. And so I was there the whole time, didn't hear anything, and but it was magical. Okay, I remember back in the day, especially Yontif time, like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Simchas Torah, people would put chains from the ceiling and create wood planks that they could stand on. They kind of made makeshift areas where that they could stand. And also because there was so many people, this was a danger zone. Every once in a while from the women's section above, a sitter would fall down. Or even worse, a machzer, which definitely packs more pounds and could really hurt the head. So whenever you're walking in this area, you got to be a little bit cautious. Although it helps if you have this kind of hat, it cushions the fall from the Sidurim. So it definitely helps. It's very practical. During times like Simchas Torah, there's bumper to bumper traffic. People are just squished. There's pretty much clouds and there's so many people, and that makes things a little risky. That's why we don't take any chances. We have an emergency telephone, and there's even a defibrillator. If somebody needs to get resuscitated, we could resuscitate them and continue on with the Farbrengen. We're going to check out how the cholent's going for next week. Let's see how we're doing. And over here is where they make the cholent. You can see over here, look at all the spices they have. Look at that. Industrial spices. Who would have ever thought there's a mini industrial kitchen right here in 770? If you come over here, look at all they're making, this is the egg salad right here. The egg salad, they're putting onions and egg salad. You got over here pickles, which is a staple in a good Farbrengen, a good Kiddush. That's going to happen. We have kugels being warmed up over here. More stuff. And of course, the cholent pot. This is like the holy of holies over here. The cholent pot of 770. I think it mixes itself. I think this might be a spigot if you just want to taste it. If you want to taste the cholent, you can just turn it and cholent will pour out from the front. It's very convenient. People don't usually see in here. There's even an industrial sink. This is right off the side in 770. And just to give you a context, so you could come out with me. Look at all these. They have fresh garlic pepper. They have industrial fridges. You have the hot chili peppers over there. And look at all that salt. Oh, I don't know if this is good for your heart, but this is the only space that they have really to make some good kiddush food. But look, then you come right out and you're in 770. You don't even realize this little door, how many of these little doors go to places that you never could even imagine things are operating or go on or went on over there. It's just, this place is amazing. I remember during the week, the Rebbe would come down from the elevator, which was connected to the proper 770 upstairs. On Shabbos, he'd come down from these stairs and he would make, if you could see, keep the camera rolling. You just come right through here and you could make your way. This is where the buildings adjoined. And behind the camera is where when I was younger, this was pretty much, I believe, the only bathroom downstairs with like 1,000 people or so. Until later on, they built 1,000 bathrooms underneath 770. These are the stairs that the Rebbe would walk up on Shabbos after the Farbrengen. Over here on top of the stairs, there's the famous picture of the box of the Mashiach Sefer Torah crown that the Rebbe was holding. And if you look over here, this is interesting. That used to be the Frierdiker Rebbe's house. It's a lot of times the Rebbe would go there for a meal and for other occasions. On Pesach, the Rebbe would go with the Rebbetzin up to have the Seder with the Frierdiker Rebbe right up these stairs. So let's continue on. We used to come in from here. There were no gates or anything. This was just a unofficial side entrance from Union Street. And these loud air conditioners were amazing in the winter because the hot air used to blow out from here. It was a great spot. And here is where we did Tashlich on Rosh Hashanah, except they didn't have the gates. They put a lot of safety things in these days for everyone. But back in the day, we lived in the raw and there were no gates. So that meant that all the kids, the second Rosh Hashanah was over, we came back with nets to catch those fish full of sins, the Avera fish. I used to catch like 50 Avera fish. They used to float up to the top and die. But there were like one or two of them that lasted for a few years and got really big. This is the courtyard of 770. This is where we used to run around and play and have fun on which Yontif was on Pesach. We used to have those game with the nuts, throwing the nuts. And on Sukkot, you could come here and shake the Rebbe's Lulav and Esrog. I remember one year we thought we were late. We thought we were very late. But the Rebbe, he stood there waiting, watching everyone shake the Lulav and Esrog. And I think we started Shacharis like 4 p.m., late in the afternoon. It was very interesting. Rabbi Mordechai Eliyahu, the chief rabbi of Israel, had a meeting with the Rebbe right over here. Later on, this is the library. They built a amazing bridge, like a double-decker bridge going from 770 to the library. And they also built a connection underneath. A lot of excavations, a lot of growth. Many people don't look up. If you do, you notice this porch up here. That is where the Frierdiker Rebbe had his sichah, which is right next, if you pan right over here, that's where the Rebbe had his sichah. And that brings us back around right over here to the front of 770. There's only one 770. There's many replicas of 770, but there's only one 770, and you joined me on this tour. I'm Mendy Pellin. Thank you so much for joining me.